So this is Pure 24/7 Radio, and I'm delighted to welcome a special guest today. He is known for a lot of work, including a particular band which you may have heard on the station, 1224. It is Josh Green. Hello, Josh.
Hey guys, good to hear about 1224 still doing the rounds. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
it's great to have you with me today. I'm really excited. I know, I mean, I mainly know you from 1224, but I know you've done a lot of work in various areas across the UK and various places, particularly, I think, with a passion for youth. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when we've been all over the world and from the band days, been preaching around different places and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just amazing to see God doing wonderful things all across the world.
Absolutely. And your latest project that you just started, I think it was just before the new year, actually, is this thing called Gen Zeal, which I'm really interested to hear about. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what's Gen Zeal?
Yeah, good question. So it's a bit of a play on words. There's a lot of talk about Gen Z or Gen Z if you're in England. And so it's a bit of a play on Gen Z, Gen Zeal. And I think we are living in a time where there's lots of narratives, stereotypes, some positive, some negative about the next generation and particularly Gen Z and the generations coming after all the stuff that they're dealing with from sort of mental health to over digitalization, the change in culture, the change in our lifestyles. And there's just a whole lot of messaging coming out. And so I guess from our side, we've sort of been on a journey of saying, okay, we believe in a God who's created the universe. What does he have to say about this generation? And for us, we think he's saying there's passion on this generation to make a change, to make a difference. And for us as Christians, we believe that's a Christian difference. But I think we can all be invited into that story too. But particularly for Gen Zeal, we're a Christian organization, and we believe that God wants to send a move of His Spirit to do something amazing and wonderful for lots of people to know Jesus and to hear Him and experience Him. And so we've called it Gen Zeal. We believe that this generation is coming with zeal, with passion. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor." So it's kind of this image of being fully on fire, wholehearted devotion to following Jesus. And so that's kind of what we're calling for in the next generation and youth, young adults, all across the world, really. So we've set up this organization to kind of really see that one thing happen, to raise up a generation who have wholehearted devotion to Jesus. And so we'll be doing events, resources, stuff on social media. We'll be doing mentoring and gatherings of young people and different things like that. And we're also going to have a whole creative department. So from my time in 1224, we're hoping to see a new generation of songwriters and artists and creatives come up who express their devotion to Jesus through creative means. And so, yeah, we're believing that it's actually this generation who are going to lead the way and do something different. So it's not necessarily about me and maybe some of us older guys operating in stuff, but about the generation that's coming. So we're really excited. We have a couple of young, passionate Gen Z kind of people who work for us or who are volunteering for us, should I say, at the moment. And we're really excited about what God's doing in them and through them. So we're looking to raise that up, stoke the fire, and send them out.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. I think it's so true in today's world. It's very easy to just, I guess, there's just so much information. There's so much going on. It's easy to become, I guess, the senses become numbed to what's going on. But you're so right. We need that passion. We need to be fervent in what we're doing, and that applies to everyone.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'd be interested to know. I did a little bit of research on your website. It looks really great, by the way. And
Thanks.
I noticed there was something about the origins, where it all began, this particular building. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So in the mid 1900s, there was something called a revival, which is basically where lots of people find faith in Jesus and the Holy Spirit kind of moves in a part of the world, and lots of people start re-engaging with God. And I actually think something of that is kind of going on right now in our day. It feels like a lot of people are finding faith again and rediscovering the meaning and purpose of life in through faith in Jesus, which is really exciting. But there's something like this kind of happened in the mid 1900s in on an island just outside of Scotland called Lewis. And there's a place called Barvers there. And there was the story goes that there was kind of these two old ladies who were really praying for God to do something new and fresh in the next generation, a bit like what we're doing now. So that's kind of their story inspired us. And yeah, recently my wife and I, along with our kids, we went and visited the Hebrides up in Scotland, kind of an island just off the side of Scotland. And we went and visited this house where these old ladies prayed and believed for God to do something in their day. And the house is being refurbished and renovated, but we got to visit the site. And yeah, really, they prayed and prayed and prayed, and it seemed like God just swept through the island. Lots of people found faith in Jesus, but also Jesus began to spill out onto the streets. And what I mean by that is society began to change. Good things started to happen, which I guess we all want to see that fruit of stuff as well, no matter what background you're from. And so, yeah, really, these old ladies, Peggy and Christine Smith, they were in their early 80s when they were praying with all this passion and fire. And so their story really inspired us when we went over in August last year. And me and my wife just sort of thought, what is our part to play in this? What could God do through our prayers, through our efforts? And he just inspired us to do this thing called Gen Zeal. And yeah, we believe we're standing on the shoulders of giants, people who've gone before us, and really contended for a move of God's Spirit in the nations. And so we're going after that. And yeah, we're excited.
Yes, it sounds fantastic. I love the way that it was inspired something so long ago. It's like you say, building on the shoulders of giants. It's so great when that happens, and
Mm.
it sounds like a really really exciting young people again building on the shoulders of the previous generation and going even further with even more passion and zeal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So for Gen Zeal, I'd be curious to know what is it you hope to see as a result of Gen Zeal in young people, in youth, in society.
Yeah, I mean, probably our first and foremost kind of aim is we want to see some statistics reverse. We see a whole load of statistics, and a lot of them seem negative, particularly around church attendance, church engagement, mental health, addictions, interaction with anything to do with Christianity. That there's a whole lot of statistics, particularly in the West, that are very negative, is particularly on the decline. And so it's been said that Europe is the only continent on Earth where the church is not growing. Me personally, and for us as Gen Zeal, we want that to be reversed in this generation. We want something to change, something to shift, and we know we can't do that on our own. We know it's everybody together. And so that's why we believe that revival looks like every church filled, every church blessed. And also, like I said before, society being blessed. So things like mental health beginning to shift and people walking in a more positive, fresh mental health. And things like knife crime and different things, statistics on that starting to change. We believe that the foundation of all of it, though, is the spiritual aspect of our society. And so that's why Gen Zeal, we're unashamedly Christian. We're unashamedly bold about our faith. And we believe that when that begins to change, for being wholeheartedly devoted to Jesus, that's when the other things are going to change. And actually, that's not just a positive idea that I have or a sort of prophecy that I have, although it is both of those things, but actually you can track it through history. Anytime that Christianity was on the rise and people were finding faith in Jesus more and more, you would find that society began to change for the better. So there were Christians who were at the forefront of slavery being abolished in this country. There were Christians at the forefront of healthcare being formed in this country. There were Christians at the forefront of education coming to this country. And so we believe, why not again? That as Christians begin to rise up and people begin to find faith in Jesus, that our society, which I think we can all agree is pretty broken, we can start to see our society shift. And we're really inspired by this quote by a guy called Leonard Ravenhill, who's from Bradford. He used to preach back in the day, sort of in the mid 1900s. and he basically says it like this. He talks about there's no use being a sick church in a dying world. And so I really love that aspect. And the thing is, we can be disappointed, we can despair, we can be disillusioned by a dying world, or we can do something about it. We can bring light to it, and we can be light to it. And we believe the best way to do that is find faith afresh again and find passion afresh again in Jesus, because Jesus died on the cross to save the world. So we're talking about a God who is radically poured out for the world. He loves the world so much so that he gave his life for it. So if we connect with that God, it's going to do something to the world around us. So yeah, that's why we're set up.
Excellent. Sounds absolutely fantastic. And I just love hearing about some of the history and how it all began. Again, that idea of building on the shoulders of giants is
Mm.
marvelous. So before we finish, could you tell us a little bit, how could we get involved or become a part of Gen Zeal?
I want everybody to become a part of Gen Zeal. And really, we have a bunch of things we're going after and a bunch of things we want to see, but I think it's about all of us reconnecting with our faith again and getting more on fire for that. But yeah, we have a website. It's genzeal.net. So it's genzeal.net. So you can find out more about us on there. People can give, people can pray for us, people can find out all the things that we're getting up to. We've just started, so there's a lot more to come. But we have a basic amount of stuff right now. We're on Instagram, Gen Zeal underscore. So you can find us on there and just watch this space. We're going to have plenty more to get on with, different events we're doing. We'll be traveling around telling people about this message that we have. And really, yeah, we just want to see the next generation rise up. So I guess if you're church leader maybe listening, or a youth leader, or somebody who works with young people or young adults, do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you if you're working in university campuses across the world, or you're working with young people, youth or young adults, so 11 to 18s or 18 to 30s. Do get in touch with us. We'd love to work with you. And really, we kind of have three things that we're focused on: holy passion, fervent prayer, and bold proclamation. And you can find out more on the website. But if your heart's burning and beating when you're hearing about this kind of thing, or watching this video, or listening to what I'm saying, do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, because we genuinely believe it's going to take all of us all in for this thing. So it's not just about Gen Zeal. We're just a tiny slice of the pie, and we take our slice really seriously. That's what my pastor at church says all the time, and I like that language. But really, it's about the whole pie, all of us being involved and doing what we're doing. So yeah, do get in touch with us.
Absolutely fantastic. Yes, genzeal.net. That's Gen, short for generation, and Zeal, Zeal, genzeal.net. And of course, Instagram at genzeal underscore. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Well, this sounds really, really exciting. I definitely will be watching this space. Thank you so much for joining me, Josh Green, to talk about Gen Zeal.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.